Doug, you can come up here while I introduce you. Doug Klinchuch posted an 11-1 record as a sophomore in 1970, 13-2 as a junior. As a senior, he won the prestigious Cal Poly tournament and later won the Valley Championship. In the Yosemite Division meet as a senior, he placed third at 120 pounds. Doug used to be in my yearbook class. It was right after lunch, and he would come in the room, and all the girls would run up to him and say, "What did you have for lunch today, Doug?" And Doug's remark was, he was like, "I had salad and a popsicle." That's all you had? Yeah, I'm trying to lose weight. So every day he looked like he was worn out right after lunch. Doug, take over.
Thank you. I've made up for that losing weight. I just want to thank the committee for nominating me, and glad to see Terry's here. I wasn't expecting it since he moved to Tennessee. It's great to see him. Jerry, I just tell you, it started out as the CYL, and then it became the EYL, I think, when I graduated anyway. And yeah, it's I did have some good accomplishments as a senior, but I also remember the teammates I had with Jack Pam, my previous there, Del Rosa, Fernando. I could go on. I think wrestling is considered an individual sport, but we wouldn't have accomplished what we accomplished if we hadn't been a cohesive team. We practiced together, lost weight together. I wasn't the only one, but we also cheered together, and at times there were some tears we shared. Excuse me. And I remember as a freshman, Terry took me to a dinner after the end of the wrestling season. It was a banquet in Bakersfield, so a young kid from Delano going to Bakersfield was like, "What are you doing here?" But anyway, after the dinner, it was a banquet for the wrestlers in Bakersfield, so it was a citywide tournament or citywide dinner. But Terry told me on the way home, "You're going to be a Valley champion." Took me 3 years after that to do it, but the faith he showed in me, I just really appreciate it, and I'll probably never forget his mentoring and friendship. I want to introduce my wife, Leslie. We've been married for 30-some years. I may not remember the dates or the years, but I've never forgotten an anniversary. So that's it. I also have my son and my daughter here, and both of them my son was a valedictorian at Liberty High School, and also a pole vaulter, and was second in the Valley, and qualified for the state. And my daughter was also, her 5-foot height, was also a pole vaulter, and she placed second in the Valley, and was also a state, qualified for the state. So I'm very proud of those two. I'm not sure how much more I want to stand up here and talk, but I really appreciate, being honored. This is, next to my family. This is probably one of my greatest honors, so thank you.
Okay, the next in our program is Larry Percy, but Jerva is the one that talked to him on the phone many times, and he said he was going to be not in Texas anymore, but out touring or vacationing and wouldn't be able to come tonight. He used to live a block away from me down the street. His junior year, he was league wrestling champion. 1974, he had a record of 29 wins, 9 losses. As a senior, he was third at the Morro Bay tournament, fourth at the Highland tournament, undefeated in league competition, and first in the East Yosemite League finals. So I have his address. I will send him a plaque. That's Larry Percy. And even though he's not here, here, I'm saying this because we're gonna send a DVD, Mr. Morrison?
Yeah, video. Just say video.
We're gonna send a video, okay, sounds good.
It'll be up on YouTube also.
We're gonna send him a video, so we wanna be sure that he knew he was introduced. Okay, George Alvarez is a basketball player, but George was having knee surgery and couldn't make it today because of the surgery he had. His position is center in basketball, putting him in the middle of the battle for rebounds against taller opponents in his 2 varsity seasons for the Tigers. 1974, he was 7th in league scoring, and in 1975 was the leading rebounder and scorer for the Tigers and earning all league honors. Okay, our next person, he's got 3 things on his plaque. David Fernando, water polo, boys basketball, and swimming. So he's being honored for all 3. Otherwise, we'd have to have him come back 3 times, but he's always invited if he wants to come. David Fernando honored for 3 sports in 1972, and Delano posted a league record of 8-0 in water polo and won the EYL championship. Fernando scored 13 goals and was named All-Valley second team. In 1975, he was 6th in rebounding and 3rd in scoring in the basketball league. He swam many events 4 years, and in the B class year, he won the Valley 50 breaststroke and was 2nd in the individual medley. And he didn't provide me with all his times, but his write-up is in the book that tells more. And the reason I put the write-ups in there is because sometimes you don't listen, or sometimes the people aren't using the microphone right. So when you go home and you have nothing to do this summer when it's 105 degrees, you can listen to it. So David Fernando, would you come up here please and give your
I want to thank the committee for nominating me for selecting me to this honor. All my heroes are right here. I can say that my 4 years were a product of the city of Delano. The city of Delano made it so easy for a person to access sports. All the coaches, the volunteers. I mean, Delano was great. You could literally walk to Little League practice, walk over to Henry's to get a haircut, go to the show. It was the experience of any childhood would dream of. I can't say that I was just super at any sport, but I had a great time, and I want to thank my coaches, the referees that put up with my shenanigans. I wasn't the best of sports. I can admit that now, but thank you for putting up with all that I did, and my coaches were my mentors, and they really put a moment in my life that you'll never forget, and I just want to thank you all for being here to honor all of us. Thanks so much. My wife, Christy, my son, my wife was a rodeo sweetheart in 1974. My brother Mark and Marcia. No, I'm good, man. Thanks. I go home, man.
David reminded me, I was looking back, well, I've had a long time to look at this because we had it for 2020. By the way, if you would like to have a souvenir ticket from 2020 when we didn't hold it, I've got a lot of tickets for that year. We didn't give you tickets this year because we figured who knows if we're going to use those tickets or not. So we didn't make it. So we call it the 12th Hall of Fame. We didn't put 12th annual because we had to skip 2 years. But this year, thanks to Mr. Anthony Martinez, way back there, and the committee members put it together, and you people for coming. We made it. Okay, Don Fipps, 1973, I wrote a note to him, Barbara, in the letter, and I said, did I have you in freshman English? And he said, no, I didn't have you, but I know I had Barbara, but I'm not sure about Dennis, so I'll have to find out later from him. He was outstanding in water polo and swimming for Delano High. And if you look at the 70 through 76 years, Delano was strong in wrestling. Delano was strong in water polo. At that time, we were the only Kern County high school with water polo. We don't have water polo anymore. We have a swimming team, but it's more like recreation swimming, you know, where you go out and get a tan. And we were strong in baseball, strong in football, went to the Valley Finals 1 year in Delano, where Henry Mendoza, one of our members, we ran out of tickets in Delano. We got allotted so many, so he drove to Redwood and bought 100 tickets and brought them back to Delano to sell them to people, but they had to sit on the Redwood side. Anyway, Don on the water polo team was 11-3 in 1973, winning the EYL title and second in the Valley. His senior year on the EYL championship swim team, he swam medley, relay, backstroke, and swam individually the 100-yard backstroke and 100 individual medley. He stayed active in swimming as a member of United States Masters Swimming for 32 years. Also, he noted in there he won a Delano Rotary Scholarship, and because of Rotary's connection, he became a Rotarian and has been going to Rotarian meetings forever and ever, and I guess he's a high official in Rotary. Barbara will fill you in correctly. But he went to a convention with his wife in Texas, and she'll tell you what happened there, that he's not here tonight. Barbara, come up here please and fill me in. And Barbara was always a beaming student, even in my class. I can never forget it.
Yeah, Don and his wife went to a Rotary convention in Houston and came home with COVID. They just found out Saturday. They had planned to come here. They were very excited about the honor here, and they're very upset not to be able to come. I was coming with them anyway, so hey, there we are. What he wanted to, I asked him for a few notes on what he'd like to say. He wanted to thank the committee for recognizing swimming and water polo. He really was hoping that Coach Gary Schaefer was going to be here. He wanted to thank him for his leadership and guidance in all of the swimming programs. He says he still remembers the twice daily workouts before and after school. I was also swimming about a few years later, and we had 6 a.m. workouts. We were the first people. And you know how foggy it could get here. You couldn't even see the other end of the pool. But that swimming program gave him a lifelong passion for swimming. I know he has done triathlons and all sorts of things. Gary mentioned the master's program in swimming. He's very active in that. And he also just wanted to say that after graduating 49 years ago, he's honored by the recognition. And after reading this write-up on him, I've known him my whole life, but I'm really impressed.